men have never checked themselves for testicular cancer. According to research, half of men regularly forget to check as well. They warn this is leading to delayed diagnosis and is hitting survival rates. Well, let's talk to Ben Bowers, a testicular cancer survivor. Good to see you this morning. Why is it, do you think, that men are so bad at checking themselves?
I think partly it's an education issue in young men. Certainly when I was a young man, I was never told about the risks I faced. I was never told to check. There was no real education about my physical and mental health as I grew up. So when I got into my 20s, I was oblivious to the risks that I faced as I grew up. So I think a lot needs to be done still to keep educating these young men and create these good health practices in young men, both physical and mental, so that as they do move through life, they're aware of the need to be checking their testicles, the importance of early diagnosis to avoid as much medical intervention as possible and ensure that they stay happy and healthy.
I mean, you've had a lot of medical intervention, though clearly you've come through the other side of that. Were you caught by surprise with your first case?
Yeah, absolutely. I was very lucky, and I did something uncharacteristic. I had some pain in my testicle, and after a few days, it got a bit worse, and I actually went to a doctor, which was very unlike me. But I went quickly, and that meant the first time I was diagnosed, we caught it quite early, and I didn't need too much sort of treatment. I just had a testicle removed, and that was it. I was unlucky in that I got cancer a second time, a different type, but again, sort of caught that early because I knew I should be checking at that point, and I was regularly checking once a month, just to feel for anything that felt different and anything that didn't feel normal. So I was lucky in that I did get checked very quickly, and the outcome was very good as a result of that.
So what is it that we should be checking for? I mean, because I'm trying to phrase this in very diplomatic terms. You've got to be aware of what you're looking for, haven't you, when you're checking?
Not as much as you may think. The important thing is getting to know what feels normal for you. And by checking once a month, you can then start to identify anything that starts to feel different. And it's that change that you're looking for. That's something that thing that doesn't feel as normal as it normally does. And so getting to know the normal is the important thing. And then as soon as you notice a change, we're not looking for everybody at home to be able to self-diagnose themselves. As soon as you notice a change, go to a GP, present early, and get the experts to check it out and find out what's going on. But it's really key just to know, to be that regular check, not more than once a month, because you don't notice changes if you check too often, but just getting to know what feels normal, and then go to a doctor if you feel that something feels a bit different, a bit like it's changed, it's grown, it's sore, there's a lump, or whatever it may be. There's a number of different indicators.
It's odd, isn't it, that we feel our masculinity being threatened by these sort of things, and understandably so, to an extent, and yet we don't man up enough to be able to go to the GP and effectively drop our trousers. Yeah,
and I think there's a big change that needs to happen in the way we look at masculinity and then look at men's health and what it means to be a man. It's not easy these days with everything going on, but being a man is being alive, it's being healthy, it's being able to look out for your mates, it's being able to look after your family. It's not being stoic and silent and the alpha male anymore. That just ends up with you being dead before you should be, which isn't a particularly manly thing to do, in my opinion. So I think we do need to change the narrative on that. We need to change how we talk about that, and we need to give guys permission to talk about these things and give them permission to show weakness when they feel down or if they're a bit worried about something. And that starts, I think, at an early age. We need to get this drilled into schools. I know Movember are launching a fantastic lesson plan now that will go into schools from September next year, that will start to educate young boys in this risk from 15 years onwards about how to check themselves for testicular cancer, about the risks they face, and also how to develop mental resilience and emotional well-being.
Look, really good to talk to you, Ben. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.